Alright, so I've gotten a lot of people over the time that ask me, what happened with Epitaph or what happened with the group or this or that, a lot of different questions. So I'm going to clear the air some here and now, finally, and get this off my chest. So, as many people may or may not know, South Florida was the epicenter for the opioid crisis for many years. They talk about pill mills and whatnot. And it's like, because Florida didn't used to have a prescription drug database, so people could doctor shop and go from doctor to doctor and do whatever they wanted, basically. It was running roughshod all through the state. And people would come here from not just all over the state, but all over the country and all over the world just to get legal drugs. And then on top of that, you had people going around, like I said, doctor shopping and whatnot, and this, that, and the other. But now they have a database in and a lot of other stuff. It's been implemented for a while, but anyway, the DEA has labeled officially Broward County as Ground Zero. That is the name, and that is the game. But regardless, that's something that's going on, as many of you may know. There's roughly something like, 140 or 150 people dying every day in the United States from opioids, which includes heroin, though, because obviously heroin is not legal in any way. You can't get a prescription for heroin. And heroin truly is what's doing all the damage now, but be that as it may. But anyway, as far as Epitaph goes, Epitaph, my brother, whew, it's been a rough one, but Epitaph passed away 3 years ago now. It's hard to believe it's been that long. But, everything that happened afterwards, it's just been even crazier and more downhill. Because with Epitaph's passing, it was really rough just to get past that, because anytime you lose somebody, especially somebody you're close to, it definitely takes a hit out of you. But nonetheless, Epitaph, it was really hard to lose him, but after he was ending up, going off, just to begin with, we had his funeral, and I remember everybody was there, and it was, definitely not a happy time. But as always, Epitaph's parents never liked me. They never really liked anybody in the group except for Beastman. And then on top of that, Epitaph's parents never really supported him in doing music. Like, they would constantly shit on him and tell him, he's wasting his life and wasting, his future by trying to pursue it. And so they never really, tried to help him with it. And, that's part of why the whole thing is, this is all crazy, because at Epitaph's funeral, I talked to everybody and everybody talked to me, and I told them that I was going to be compiling Epitaph's album and putting it out. And, anybody who wanted anything to do with it, just let me know. And, a couple of people, of course, wanted to help out and get down and all of that. And then, after like a month or two goes by, after that happens, I get, text message and I think like messages when I was on Facebook saying, like, oh, these other people are going to put out his album. And if I want to contribute, I've got to clear it with them. That somehow, people other than myself are laying claim to Epitaph's music. Now, part of it, I believe, has to do with Epitaph's family, because, I've heard, his father wants to sue me for putting out his album, which is ridiculous. And, he wants to sue me for doing anything. And it's, and the same thing with, some of these artists. I'm not going to name any names or whatever, but some people who were vaguely affiliated with Epitaph somehow come out of the woodwork to think that they can lay claim to his music, and that somehow, number one, that'll fly, and number two, that, like, as if I'm not here. It's like, Epitaph was in a group with me and the rest of us since he started, and was in it with us until he passed away. And even the week before he passed away, he had asked me specifically to press his album and put it out, and he would pay me with the proceeds from, everything he sold out of it until I was paid back. So it's, If anyone had asked Epitaph or anyone who knows Epitaph, you would obviously know Epitaph would be having no issues in any way with me putting out his music or even making money off of it, but that's not what I'm doing it for. I'm specifically doing it for the fact that, it's Epitaph, he's my brother, and, I owe him that, and, he would do the same for me. So I did it for him. So I reached into my own pocket and paid, even though technically, it's like I had to pay for most of everything that, we did with the music, but I had to pay to finish his album, get everything in order, whatever was not right, whatever needed to be finished. And, I put the album out. And, that cost me not a whole lot of money, but enough. I mean, it's not like it was free, that's for damn sure. But I put money out of my own pocket to get the album finished and then to just put it out just to give it away for free. And meanwhile, whether it's being run by Epitaph's family or, these supposed friends or both, or I don't really know what, but they have a GoFundMe page where they raised around $1,000. And I put the album out over a year ago. Meanwhile, it's been 3 years since they put up this GoFundMe and got that $1,000. They still haven't released the album. I went and did it on my own with my own money and got it put out. And I even waited a little bit because, again, I was a little bit upset from him passing. And, it's like I said, it took a lot out of me. But on top of that, it was the fact that people are threatening to sue you. People are threatening, it's like I got messages too about, I'm not even supposed to be on the songs that I'm on, the ones that Epitaph specifically asked me to be on. It's insane isn't even the word. I don't even know where to begin. Because anybody who thinks that they have somehow a claim to Epitaph's music over the rest of us in his group that he's been with since the very beginning, I don't know who you are, where you come from, or what you're thinking. Because nobody has known him longer than we have. And, that's why he was part of our group. And I will always be, paying tribute to his memory for every show we do or every CD, you name it. He's always going to be here in spirit. That's the way it is. And it's like, that's the thing, is I don't know what the fuck is wrong with all of y'all. Anybody out there who's got a problem with it, by all means, feel free to ever come say something to me, because I'm not saying Epitaph, wasn't anyone's friend. By all means, he had plenty of friends and he loves lots of y'all out there, and so do I. But anybody trying to tell me or threaten me that anything to do with my music or Epitaph's music, you are definitely beyond out of line. And I encourage you, by all means, say something, because it is beyond fucked up. You're trying me, but you're trying my brother who's not here, and Epitaph would be willing to jump in to beat your ass before I even did anything. Because Epitaph would be the one to tell you, I've always been there, he was always with me, he was, like my little brother. So it's like, it's just been really eating at me, and it's time to finally put this shit to rest, because all of y'all been following me around, making threats, saying you're going to sue me, saying this, that, and the other. Now y'all are trying to get like my videos taken down. You're trying to stop me in any way from getting any promotion. It's like, this shit's hilarious, because if I'm got y'all that riled up that y'all are trying to do that, then I must be doing something right. I must have y'all, and I love the fact I'm making y'all get pissed off, because you should be pissed off. Fuck you. Kidding me, man. This shit's ridiculous. And then on top of fucking that, it just everything else to do with it. It's, I put Epitaph's album out for people to enjoy it. I put it out for free. I would press up copies, but it's, again, not even to sell, but it's just they'll probably try to fuck with it. So that's why I'm just floating around the internet. Because Epitaph would want his album out. That's a number one. And, like, he wouldn't care about anything else other than getting his music out there like it's supposed to. And it's just, I don't know what the hell is wrong with it. I don't know what the fuck. It's just, it leaves me speechless. It's, where words fail. But that's the whole thing, is just, they should be happy that Epitaph's music is living on and people care enough to listen to it. And instead, for some reason, they're trying to sabotage it in every way. And then better than that, try to blame me. Because it's, his parents never liked any of us in the group, like I said. But I don't know, like, I've heard rumors going around, but again, I don't know if they're really, who believes them or who's spreading them or whatnot, but trying to say that it's my fault that, he died or anything like that, and it's just, ugh, if only, because if it was anything within my power to control his living or dying, believe me, he'd be here right now. If he had told me what he was doing, it's like I would have been there and stopped him. Because again, it's the sad thing is I know mostly what happened, and the honest truth, unfortunately, is the last like 3, 4, 5 months of Epitaph's life, he picked up a needle, and it was the worst thing he could do because everything went just horribly downhill from there. And it's like I don't want to, make him out more negative than the things that happened because it was really unfortunate, but you know he really went on a downward spiral, and that like he was already not doing exactly great, but once that happened, it was just all downhill from there. And it's I wish I could have been there to tell him. I wish I even if I was just there to not even be able to stop him from doing it, but at least save him afterward. Anything would have been better than what's happened. And it's like there's a lot of other things about it that's really makes it suck, but it's just that really gets me is the fact that first off he's gone, and it's like that's already a hard pill to swallow, but then the fact that he's gone and now people are trying to number one fuck with his music, my music, our music, trying to instead of trying to assist in any way, they're trying to stop it and saying that they're his friends, which would make no sense because anybody who would be a friend of Epitaph should be a friend of mine and vice versa because we were like family. And then on top of that, like I said, is it just makes no sense because again, is you're fucking with us putting out our music, you're fucking with us, like you're trying to threaten to sue us and all this dumb shit. And and better than that, like the icing on the cake, like I said, is anybody saying I had anything to do with his passing because that anybody who knows anything about it would know that ain't true. Because again, is like I was one of the few people that I gave him a place to stay when he didn't have a place to stay. I helped take care of him quite a bit. And it's like even though he owes me money and shit, it's like I don't even care about that. Like I said, I'd trade that money back in a heartbeat just to have him here. That's not what it's about because again, at the end of the day, when you're gone, you're gone. It don't matter if you got a negative balance or you got a quadrillion-dollar balance. It ain't changing nothing, and you can't take it with you. So yeah, it's just an unfortunate thing. There's nothing we could do about it. And even on top of that, in Epitaph's honor, because I know exactly he would have wanted, we did pass out mixtapes at his funeral because I know he would have enjoyed the shit out of that. Because I know a lot of people online used to think they got to him, but actually Epitaph laughed off and was enjoying a lot of the stuff. But we did pass out mixtapes at his funeral, mainly of his music, obviously, to try to get something together. Because I wish, because again, I would have put his album out then and passed it out at his funeral. But his family's there because they wouldn't even come and talk to me. They wouldn't say nothing to me. They just tried to ignore me and just be dicks. Which was like, hey, fine, I understand. If I lost my son, I'd be upset too. But you can't blame anyone else for it. Whether you just don't like them or whether you really think it is their fault. You can't blame anyone else. Unfortunately, it was on Epitaph, and like I said, that's the thing that kills me. But he's still going to be here forever and a day, so he's not going anywhere. His spirit's going to remain with us, and it's going to be there because it's captured on audio and video quite a bit. So he's going to be around. He ain't going nowhere. So I just wanted to say that to anyone out there and, get this off my chest finally because it's really been, eating at me. So, like I said, his Epitaph is not going to disappear and I'm going to still represent him to the fullest. Ain't nobody going to tell me different. And Epitaph would say the same and has said the same on plenty of our songs. So, if you want his opinion on the matter, just listen through our albums. That's all you got to do. Otherwise, take it easy and enjoy. Stay safe, y'all.